This episode of Scott Bromley's Internet Rabbit Hole is brought to you by Netflix. Well, let's come to this, a full episode about hardcore pornography! So last night, I was researching the new Sonic the Hedgehog game for work when I came across the part in the press release that said not only was Sega making a new Sonic game, but that Sonic Boom would also be a show on Cartoon Network, which got me thinking about the old Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon from the 90s. And after watching a couple of episodes on YouTube, I noticed that the voice work was done by none other than Jaleel White, whose biggest role of all time was playing Steve Urkel on the TGIF staple and Perfect Strangers spin-off, Family Matters. Which of course, got me to watch more episodes of Family Matters. Well, that is until Urkel got superpowers and started transforming into Stefan in every episode. That's really when the show jumped the shark. Though others would say that the show jumped when the middle sister Judy went upstairs and was never seen again. Ever. So I went over to tvtropes.org to find out if that all too common occurrence had a name. And it does. When a main character is sent away on a TV show and never seen or mentioned again, it's called the Chuck Cunningham syndrome. And it's named after the character Chuck Cunningham from Happy Days, who was completely written out of the main character's family without mention after the first season. So of course, I jumped over to the TV Tropes page for Happy Days and discovered that the term jump the shark comes from that show too, and is derived from the time that Fonzie jumped over an actual shark. Water skiing. In the ocean. While wearing a leather jacket. I'm getting off track. Let's jump back over to Family Matters. So after the actress who played Judy on Family Matters left, she ended up doing hardcore pornography, which you guessed it, got me looking up some more hardcore pornography. But not just any porn parodies, like This Ain't Duck Dynasty and the Simpsons XXX parody, because I like jokes and a little story with my porno, which simultaneously turned me on and made me sad. Not because I was watching a Duck Dynasty porno, but because I was getting nostalgic for the days of punny porn titles. Seriously, porn companies, is it that hard to call Duck Dynasty Fuck Dynasty? By the way, you guys can have that one for free. Company that made the Duck Dynasty porno. Also, I hope you go out of business because that's disgusting. Nobody wants to watch that. But then I wondered if there were any pornos based off of video games, and turns out there are lots of them. And I'm not just talking about pornographic video games from the 80s like Custer's Revenge and Beat 'em and Eat 'em on the Atari 2600. I'm talking about full-blown porn movies themed around video games, like Tomb Raider, Pokemon, Call of Duty, and even Super Mario Brothers. Oh yeah, there's a Super Mario Brothers porn. However, it was based on the terrible 1993 movie and not the video game. And because it was based on the movie and was produced in the 90s, it actually had a creative punny title, unlike the lazy parodies do now. I like to imagine the pitch meeting when a little something like this.
How you doing there, sunshine? Listen, John Porno, CEO of Pornography, is a busy man. I gotta hear some good news on my classy line of pornography films. How they do?
Sir, I'm afraid I have some bad news. It turns out the pornographic films that are based on actual movies that we're producing aren't doing so well.
What about Lawrence of Arabia?
Nobody bought it.
What about Raylan Miss Daisy?
Nobody bought it.
Schindler's Fist? That one was classy.
Actually, I think that it was called an atrocity in the paper.
What are you talking about? That was an atrocity. Like I seen where I sent all the naked bros off the shits, and they had anal sex. Because it's butts.
Again, nobody bought it. Here's the thing, is like, I don't think anyone's buying these, so like, why don't we try something different? Like, maybe video games.
The fuck are video games?
You're wearing one on your t-shirt, sir.
Oh, no, you got that wrong. This is just a hilarious t-shirt of a dong with 2 eyeballs on it. It's funny because it's a penis.
You are a child.
You know what, this video game bullshit isn't gonna work. This video game stuff is not gonna work. You know what, we need to go back to movies. We need to stick with what's working because I hate making changes. All right.
So I picked up the newspaper this morning, and actually a movie called Cliffhanger and something called Super Mario Bros. Are all that's coming out this weekend.
You know what we do? We'll call up Ronnie Jeremy, we'll throw him in some fucking shoes and shit, and he'll go bang some broads. Call that one Super Honio Bros. The other one we'll just call it Cliffhanger, call it a day. You and me, baby, we're gonna be billionaires.
Not me, glass ceiling.
Pornography on VHS tapes will never die.
was I talking about again? Oh, right, the Mario porn. So believe it or not, Super Hornio Bros was so long it was split into 2 movies. However, neither one of the films ever made it to store shelves. Why? Well, according to the star Ron Jeremy's own website, the movies were never released because Nintendo caught wind of their production. And because Nintendo is super protective of its licenses, they actually bought the rights to Super Hornio Bros 1 and 2 to ensure that they were never seen by the public. I know, it's insane, right? But it's totally true. Nintendo owns the rights to 2 pornographic movies. And you said they weren't hardcore. So how do I tie the Super Mario porn back to Sonic? Well, we're gonna do it Kevin Bacon style. Frank, give me some of that music that kind of sounds like Footloose, but isn't the song to Footloose because we can't afford it. All right, that's good enough. Now, I could go the easy route and just say that Ron Jeremy, who played Squeegee Hornio in Super Hornio Bros, is nicknamed the Hedgehog and call it a day. But that's cheating. So, Ron Jeremy was on the TV show The Surreal Life with Vanilla Ice, who was in the Insane Clown Posse masterpiece Big Money Rustlers with Saved by the Bell's Dustin Diamond, who was in Big Fat Liar with Jaleel White, who was the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, that's all the time I have for you this week. I want to thank Meg Turney from Sourcefed Nerd for stopping by and helping me out and letting me shout terrible, offensive things at her in a wig. So, big thank you for that. Also, I would like to thank you for traveling through this internet rabbit hole with me. And if you guys liked what you saw, share it with your friends. And if you want to watch some movies or TV shows that may or may not have inspired porn parodies, you should check out Netflix. Netflix lets you stream thousands of movies and television shows to any Netflix-enabled device, like your laptop, phone, or even one of those fancy pants new game consoles. Get a free trial membership and support Rev3 Games at the same time by signing up at netflix.com/Rev3Games. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Plus, if you're still here and bored, write your best fake video game porn pun in the comments down there. Until next time, I'm Scott Bromley saying, don't delete your internet history.
Oh my God!
I like the part where the old skinny man's running around and his balls are flopping everywhere. It was a class act.
Oh, it hurts. It hits right in my history degree.